Hello everybody, my name is Jack and welcome back. Welcome back to my channel Genius Speaking. In today's lesson, I'm gonna teach you everything I know about Italian passato prossimo. Passato prossimo, it is a very important tense to know because often in Italian language, in spoken, especially Italian language, passato prossimo, it is used in place of the simple past. Passato prossimo is a verb tense of the indicative mode that expresses an action that took place in the recent or distant past, but that action has effect still perceived in the present. That's why we can match passato prossimo with the English present perfect. The two verbal tenses share a lot of similarities. But how we can use passato prossimo in Italian language? So, it is logical to suppose that we can use remote past to describe events happened in the distant past, while passato prossimo, it is used to describe events happened in the recent past, because in the matter of fact, prossimo means proximity. However, it is not actually the case, because the choice between using passato prossimo and passato remoto, it is not based on chronological criteria. The drive of the usage of one verb or the other is the closeness of the events, but that closeness is of a psychological and sentimental nature, not a chronological one. As happens in English language, you can use passato prossimo, present perfect, when you want to describe events happened in the past, but those very events have still an emotional connection to the present. Passato prossimo, it is a compound tense. It means it is built by two different elements. First, we must use an auxiliary verb. Usually, either the verb to be, essere, or the verb to have, avere. And then we take the past participle of the verb we want to use to make the passato prossimo tense. Italian participle has two tenses, present and past. The present, it is quite never used in Italian language as a real verb. Its main function is to transform verbs into nouns or adjectives. Present participle, it is very regular. The majority of the most used verbs stick to the following grammatical rules. To spot the right conjugation, the main drive it is to spot the thematic vowel. I leave you a link in the description if you're curious about knowing more about verbs conjugation and thematic vowels, so you can check it out after this very video. But in few words, we can define the thematic vowel as the morphological marker which indicates which is the conjugational class that a word belongs to. Italian verbs have three main thematic vowels, because Italian verbs can end by are, ere, ire. Each verb belonging to the first conjugation, so ending with are, the present participle, it is formed by switching are for ante, like the verb to sing. Cantare, infinite mode, are, so we swap are for ante, cantante, singing. Logically, verbs belonging to the second conjugation, so ending with ere, in order to make the present participle, you take ere and you can swap it for ente. So, in the verb contenere, to contain, which belongs to the second conjugation, the present participle is contenente, containing. Again, we can apply the same rule to verbs belonging to the third conjugation, so ending by ire. So I is the thematic vowel. The verb to act, agire, becomes agente. Yes, exactly. Ere and ire, so verbs belonging to the second and third conjugation, form the present participle in the same way, switching the last three letters for ente. So, agire, to act, becomes agente, acting. By following few other examples to make you better understand how that works. A box containing jewelry. The translation is una scatola contenente gioielli. Contenente means which contains. A person coming from Florence. Una persona proveniente da Firenze. Proveniente means which comes. A word deriving from Latin. Una parola derivante dal latino, which derives. More often in Italian language, present participle of verbs make nouns, like assistente, assistant, from the verb to assist, assistere. Insegnante, teacher, coming from the verb to teach, insegnare, a person who teaches. Or it can form adjectives, like pesante, heavy, comes from the verb pesare, to weight. Now it is time to study the past participle, because it's the one that interests us in order to make the passato prossimo tense. The past participle in Italian, it is a thing, but unfortunately it is very irregular. There is a grammatical rule similar to present participle, but exceptions are high in number. But let's go step by step. The main grammatical rule, it is similar to present participle, meaning that we can fit each verb into one of the three conjugational patterns, categories, based on the thematic vowel. So verbs belonging to the first conjugation switch the are for ato, like the verb cantare, to sing, becomes cantato. Verbs belonging to the second conjugation, so ending with ere, they switch ere for uto, like the verb to contain, contenere, becomes contenuto, contained. And finally, verbs belong to the third conjugation, so ending with ire, they swap ire for ito. Agire, to act, becomes agito, acted. Despite the matter of fact, there is a rule to conjugate properly verbs. As I said before, in Italian language there are many exceptions. The first exception is the verb to be. The verb to be has no past participle and forms compound tenses like passato prossimo with the past participle of the verb stare, to stay, stato. So, irregularities for what concerns verb belonging to the first conjugation, there are few, because verbs ending with are quite regular, so they stick to the rule of switching are for ato. The only important exception you must memorize is for the verb to do, because the verb to do, fare, does not make the past participle in fato, but it is fatto. You double the T, and you had to make it out loud that you are doubling the consonants, because fatto, it means made. Fato, it means destiny, fate. So are two different things. But I know, you will remember because you are a genius speaker. And of course, if you're a genius speaker, you want to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you can stay updated to each lesson I post on the channel. Unluckily, verbs belonging to the second conjugation are often irregular. And again, guess what? The thematic vowel helps us to determine the exact conjugation of irregular verbs. When the thematic vowel it is stressed, they are generally regular, so they stick to the rule. For example, the verb to want, volere, volere, the thematic vowel belonging to the ending ere, it is stressed. So when the ending has inside the stressed vowel in the word, you can be pretty much sure the verb is regular. So, voluto. Another example could be the verb to hold, tenere. Again, in ere, there is the stressed vowel. Tenere becomes tenuto, where of course the swap vowel retains the stressed characteristic. However, there are few exceptions. For instance, the verb to value, valere, becomes valso. So, ere, it is morphed into so. Rimanere, to remain, which becomes rimasto. So, ere morphs in sto. And vedere, to see, becomes visto. Again, for those two verbs, ere morphs into sto. When the thematic vowel is unstressed, so the stressed vowel is elsewhere inside the word, the irregular forms are few. Many of them represent the exceptions. Luckily for you, I'm a very good teacher, so I'm going to list the majority of irregular verbs that you're going to use in Italian language, so you can try to memorize their past participle. Vivere, to live, which becomes vissuto. Rompere, to break, becomes rotto. Scrivere, to write, becomes scritto. For what concerns verbs belonging to the third conjugation, so ending with ire, those verbs are generally regular, so they stick to the rule. Although there are few exceptions based on the combo between consonant plus rire or vowel plus rire. Verbs made by consonant plus rire, they form the past participle in erto, like aprire, to open, becomes aperto. Soffrire, to suffer, becomes sofferto. As well, offrire, to offer, becomes offerto. By the other hand, verbs containing a vowel plus rire, they form the past participle switching rire for rso. Apparire, to appear, becomes apparso. But some other verbs like preferire, they're going to make the past participle in preferito. Other verbs are totally irregular. A couple of irregular verbs are going to be morire, to die, which becomes morto, and venire, to come, becomes venuto. In Italian language, both essere and avere, to be and to have, can be used as auxiliary verbs to form passato prossimo. Remember, although the concordance, the auxiliary verbs are the one that must share gender and number with the subjects. All transitive verbs form the passato prossimo tense using the verb avere to have as auxiliary verb. I ate a cookie. Io ho mangiato un biscotto. So you take the verb to have, avere, you conjugate to its first person simple present tense, io ho, and you use it as auxiliary verb to be connected with the past participle of the verb mangiare, to eat. Mangiare belongs to are, the first conjugation, and the rule says that the past participle of mangiare is mangiato. Io ho mangiato un biscotto. If I would refer to the second singular person, you asked for water, the correct Italian translation would be tu hai, you have. So again, you take the verb to have, avere, you conjugate to the second singular person in the simple present tense, tu hai, and then you add the past participle for chiedere, to ask. Chiedere belongs to the second conjugation, therefore chiedere becomes chiesto. Yes, chiedere is irregular, so it is not chieduto, it is chiesto. For what concerns intransitive verbs, they instead form passato prossimo using the verb to be, essere, as auxiliary verbs. Jack has arrived. Jack è, again, subjects, verb must keep concordance. So I conjugate the verb to be essere using the third singular person, Jack è, and then I connect the auxiliary verb with the past participle of the verb arrivare, to arrive. Arrivare belongs to the first conjugation, therefore it is regular and it is arrivato. Jack è arrivato. The students left. The Italian translation for this very sentence is gli studenti sono partiti. Gli studenti is plural. Therefore, the verb to be as auxiliary verb must be conjugated to the third plural person. Students are. Gli studenti sono. Partire, to leave, belongs to the third conjugation. Therefore, partito. However, Genius speakers remember that students is plural. Partito, it is singular. That's why you must morph the verb partito into partiti. It's plural form. So, I conclude this lesson with some thoughts about passato prossimo. Passato prossimo, it is truly important in Italian language, although it is a little bit difficult because it is a compound tense, but it is very deep eradicated into Italian spoken language. The reason why is because in central and northern regions of Italy, passato prossimo, it is definitively used in those regions in place of simple past, even if there is no psychological or emotional involvement to the events of the past. If I would say Napoleon was born in Ajaccio, in Italian language the correct translation would be Napoleone nacque ad Ajaccio, where nacque is the passato remoto of nascere. Io nacqui, tu nascesti, lui nacque. However, in Italy you will often hear sentences like Napoleone è nato ad Ajaccio. Napoleon has born in Ajaccio. Technically, this is a grammatical mistake, because it is often the case that we have no emotional or psychological connection to the event of the birth of Napoleon. Therefore, the past tense would be more appropriate. But don't tell to Italians, they love to use passato prossimo. However, by the other hand, in southern regions of Italy happens the right opposites. Passato prossimo, it is quite never used, and often, in order to refer to events happened in the past, Italians living in southern regions will always use the remote past. My daughter has born in December. The most familiar translation will be mia figlia nacque a dicembre, instead of mia figlia è nata a dicembre. Nascere, to born, is nato. It is correct to say mia figlia è nata, because she is female. Nato for males, nata for females. A dicembre. I use the passato prossimo because the emotional attachment to the event, it is supposed to be present still nowadays. Therefore, passato prossimo fits perfectly instead of passato remoto. Another common usage of passato prossimo is as a form of actuality. Passato prossimo can indicate, in a matter of fact, an action that has started in the past, but it is finished in the present. Now I've finished the job. Adesso io ho finito il lavoro. From finire, to finish, it is transitive, therefore wants the verb to have. Finire belonging to the third conjugation, therefore finire is finito. Il lavoro is the job. This is an action that started in the past, but obviously has connection to the present, because only in the present I've finished this damned job. Ladies and gentlemen, class is dismissed. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, and of course, watch more of my other Italian language video lessons. Speak like a genius. Bye bye!